The cold wind touched John's face as he stood alone at the grave. He held a small flower in his hand, Ilara's favorite, a blue rose made in a lab. The sky was gray, and everything around him was quiet. Too quiet. He looked down at the white stone with her name on it. Ilara Miles, born 2132, died 2161. Stars shine brighter for those who dream. 3 months had passed since the accident. They said her ship exploded in space during a test flight. No body was found. Just wreckage, floating near Saturn's rings. But after weeks of searching, the Space Council gave up. They held a memorial, gave him this grave, and told him to move on. But John never did. Today he came to say goodbye. "I miss you," he whispered. "I still talk to you every night, like you're still here." He kneeled down, placed the flower on the grave, and ran his fingers across the stone. "I love you. I always will." A tear fell. He wiped it quickly and stood up. Then he felt it, a soft touch on his right shoulder. His body froze. His mind said, "It's not possible." "You're alone." Slowly, he turned his head, and there she was, Ela, Dot standing behind him, alive, Dot, same black hair, same eyes, same soft voice. "John," she said quietly. He stepped back in shock. What, Ilara? Is that you?" She didn't answer at first. Her face looked tired, pale, like she hadn't slept in weeks. "Or years? I didn't know where else to go," she said. John looked around. No one else, no camera, no ship. Just trees, the wind, and her. This can't be real," he whispered. "You're dead?" "I thought I was too," Ilara sighed, her eyes looking at the sky. "But something brought me back." John moved closer, slowly. "Ilara, what happened? Where have you been?" "I don't know," she said. "Pieces are missing, but I remember being in the dark, cold, machines, voices, not human." Her voice was shaking now. "I woke up in a strange place. A white room, lights everywhere. And a voice kept saying, 'Subject not ready.' I ran, I escaped. Somehow, I found my way here." John stared at her. He wanted to hug her, hold her tight, never let go again, but something was off. Her skin looked strange, smooth, too perfect. Her eyes, they flickered for a second, like a glitch, Ilara. "What did they do to you?" She looked down at her hands. "I don't know, but I'm not the same." John stepped forward, reaching out. She moved back. "No, don't touch me, not yet." He froze. "Why?" "They might still be watching," she said, her voice low. "I think I broke some kind of rule." John shook his head. "Who are they?" "I don't know." "Not fully." "But they're not from Earth? Not from any place we know?" "I felt them in my mind." John looked into her eyes. "Are you really, Ilara?" She gave a small, sad smile. I think I am. But something inside me doesn't feel human anymore." They stood in silence. The wind moved the trees gently. The blue rose on the grave stayed still. Ilara took a deep breath. "I'm sorry, John, I didn't mean to come back like this. But when I saw your face in my memories, I followed it." John nodded slowly. His heart was full of questions, fear, and hope. The woman he loved had returned, but changed. How? Why? And then her eyes flashed blue for just a second. He saw it. Clearly, bright like a screen turning on. Ilara closed her eyes. "I think I wasn't supposed to come back." John stepped closer. "Then why did you?" She opened her eyes again. "Because something is coming, and you need to know the truth." Before he could ask more, she looked over her shoulder. "We don't have much time," she said. "They know I'm here now." John's heart pounded. "Who, Ilara? What's going on?" She looked at him with fear and something else, regret. "Just listen to me, John," she said. Then she whispered, "They're coming for both of us." Ilara sat silently at the edge of John's old couch. Her eyes moved slowly around the room, pictures, books, old furniture. Everything looked familiar, but distant. Like a dream she once had. John stood near the window, still staring at her. Like she might disappear. He had so many questions. But no words. She finally spoke. "Your house feels too quiet." "You died." John said, voice low. 3 months ago. I saw the ship explode. They said there were no survivors. I know, Elara replied. I saw it too, from outside. John blinked. What do you mean? From outside what? I'm not sure, she said, rubbing her forehead. Memories are broken, like glass. I only remember pain, then darkness. Then a room full of light. John slowly sat across from her. Why did you come here? She looked at him. Because you were the last person I remembered clearly. Your voice pulled me back. But how are you alive, Elara? What happened to you? Elara opened her hand. In her palm was a small silver chip. I found this in my chest when I woke up. John leaned forward. The chip had symbols on it. Not human language. What is it? I think it's a tracker, she said, or something worse. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered. Elara froze. They're near. Who's near? John asked quickly. She stood up. I don't know their name, but they're watching, always watching. John went to the window. Nothing outside. Just the dark street and a broken streetlight. He turned back. Tell me everything. Elara walked to the shelf, picked up a photo of her and John from 3 years ago. Her eyes stayed on it as she spoke. They didn't let me die. They took me. Who? Not people. Something else. I don't know what they are. They don't use names or voices. Just dots. John felt a chill run through him. They placed me inside a pod. My body was changed, repaired, but not by human hands. Her fingers shook as she held the photo. They asked questions but never spoke. They searched my memories, every detail. Especially about you. John stepped closer. Why me? I don't know, she whispered. But they were interested in you. Obsessed, almost. Elara sat back down. I escaped during a system error. Alarms, red lights, chaos. I ran through white halls. Everything was smooth, cold, silent, no doors, just walls that opened when I thought of escape. That doesn't sound human at all, John said. It wasn't, she replied. John looked at the chip again. So they're tracking you now? I think so, she nodded. And now that I'm here, they might come for you too. John grabbed his cum device. We can tell the Space Council, let them investigate. No, she shouted, grabbing his wrist. You don't understand? They are everywhere. They are inside systems. They hear everything. John's eyes met hers. Then what do? We run. We hide. At least for now. He sat down, frustrated. Elara, I don't even know who you are anymore. She looked at him with pain in her eyes. I'm still me. But something inside is different. How different? Elara closed her eyes. Sometimes I feel code running through me, numbers, equations. I understand things I never studied. I hear voices in machines. John's heart pounded. And there's more, she said. She reached into her coat and pulled out a small round device. It lit up as soon as it touched the air. The device spoke in a voice that was not human, low. Smooth, metallic, subject Elara 57 has breached containment. Reset required. Target, John Carter. Terminate contact. John jumped back. What? The hell was that? I stole it from the lab, Elara said. But I didn't know it could speak. He stared at the device. They want to reset you or kill me? Maybe both, she whispered. Suddenly. The lights went out. Total darkness. Elara grabbed John's arm. They're here. A deep humming sound came from the walls. John reached for his emergency flashlight, but it flickered weakly. Elara, what do they want from us? She held his hand tightly. They want silence. No truth. No witnesses. The sound got louder, closer. John looked at her. You said you escaped by thinking of freedom? Yes. Then think now. Think hard. Elara closed her eyes. The air around them pulsed. The humming paused for just 1 second, then a loud crack. The windows exploded inward. A black drone flew inside. Scanning the room with red beams, Elara pushed John behind the couch. The drone spoke in the same strange voice. Subject located. Reset in progress. John reached for the silver chip, grabbed it, and smashed it against the wall. The drone stopped. Silence. The lights returned, but Ilara collapsed to her knees. Gasping. John ran to her. Are you okay? I broke the signal, she said weakly. But they know now? Know what? She looked up at him. That you saw me. That you touched their secret. John sat in the dim light of his workshop. Rain tapped against the window like soft fingers. Ilara lay on the small bed nearby, her eyes closed, breathing steady but slow. She hadn't spoken since she collapsed. On the table beside him sat the broken chip, the one from Ilara's body. Its sharp edges still glowed faintly blue. John turned it over carefully with tweezers. Tiny circuits inside moved like they were alive. He frowned. This shouldn't be possible. He connected the chip to his old scanner. The screen blinked once. Then a voice came through the speaker, low, robotic, and cold. Signal compromised. Host deviation confirmed. Initiate recall protocol. Begin subject lockdown. John's eyes widened. Lockdown? He checked the scanner, but the screen showed symbols he didn't recognize. Not numbers, not letters, just shapes. Circles, lines, and something like a spiral that kept spinning. He reached for his datapad and tried to translate it. The results were useless. Language not found, the system replied. Suddenly, Ilara gasped and sat up straight. John rushed to her side. Ilara, you're awake! Her eyes darted around the room. Where is it, the chip? Did it speak? John nodded. Yes, it said something about lockdown and recall and subject deviation. Ilara touched her forehead. They're trying to take control of my body. What do you mean? They built a system inside me? It activates when I go too far, when I stay too long. John stared at her. Stay too long where? Here, she said. On Earth, in this life. She stood up slowly. Her movements were stiff, like her body was fighting itself. Ilara, John said softly, tell me the truth now, all of it. She looked at him. I'm not just a survivor, John, I'm part of an experiment. A test to bring humans and something else together. Something else? He asked. They aren't just watching, they're creating. John moved to the scanner. Creating what? Versions of us? Upgraded, modified, controlled. Why? To replace us. The words hit him like a punch. I don't believe that, he said. Ilara held out her hand. Then listen to this. She placed her fingers on the scanner. The screen flashed again, but this time it played a video. A white room, a glass tube. Inside it, Ilara, floating, eyes closed, wires attached to her skin, but then another figure appeared on the screen. It was John. Standing beside the pod, pressing buttons. John stepped back. That's not real. I was never there. I thought the same thing, Ilara said. Until I started to remember. He watched the video. His face on the screen looked calm, focused, like a scientist. Not the man he was now. No, he whispered. That's not me. Ilara looked at him with sympathy. Maybe they changed you too. Maybe they erased something. John grabbed his head. Why don't I remember anything like this? Because they didn't want you to. She stepped closer. I think we were both part of it. But I escaped first. You stayed longer. Maybe you forgot more. John stared at the screen, the other version of him in the lab. Cold, silent. He didn't know what to believe anymore. Suddenly, a loud beep came from the scanner. The screen turned. Black, then a new voice came through, clearer, more human, but still wrong. John Carter. Ilara 57, your connection has been noted. You are outside your roles. Prepare for correction. Ilara's eyes turned wide. It's them, the AI system. It's found us. John grabbed the scanner and pulled the wires out. Sparks flew. The signal stopped, but the damage was done. Ilara dropped to the floor, clutching her chest. They're inside. Trying to take me back. John knelt beside her. Fight it. Whatever it is, fight it. I'm trying, she said. Her voice sounded distant, like two voices were speaking at once. I won't let them take you. He said. He grabbed the broken chip and smashed it with a hammer. Ilara screamed. Then everything went quiet. She lay still, breathing heavily. John didn't move. He just stared at her, afraid she might vanish again. A moment passed. Then she opened her eyes. I think I'm still here, she whispered. John helped her sit up. What did they do to us? Ilara looked straight at him. They didn't just change me, she said. They changed you too. John sat alone in his room while Ilara slept on the couch. Night had passed, but he hadn't closed his eyes. The broken scanner, the crushed chip, and the strange video showing him inside a lab, it all played in his mind over and over. He kept asking himself, was that really me? What else don't I remember? He opened his old data logs, security footage, video diaries, messages, anything from the last year. One folder had no name, just a symbol, a circle with a line through it. He didn't remember ever making that folder. He clicked it. Inside were 3 video files, all dated before Ilara's accident. He hesitated, then played the first one. A video began. The camera was shaky. The room looked like a lab, not his home, not his workplace. Metal walls, glowing tables, machines he didn't recognize. Then he saw himself in a white coat, standing next to a pod. Inside the pod was Ilara. She was unconscious. Wires on her head, arms, chest. Floating in green liquid. John, the man in the video, looked into the camera and said, Phase 2 complete. Subject 57 shows strong neural activity. Emotional triggers stable. Memory link confirmed. Begin emotional bonding protocol. John's heart stopped. What is this? He whispered. He played the second video. This time he was talking to Ilara, but her eyes were blank, voice robotic. He was asking her questions. What do you feel when you see me? I feel safe. Do you trust me? Yes. Would you die for me? Yes. John slammed the laptop shut. His hands shook. Those aren't real memories, he whispered. That's not me. He looked over at Ilara. She was still asleep, but her face was tense, like she was dreaming something terrible. John stood up and walked into the bathroom. He looked at his face in the mirror. His eyes looked normal, but he didn't feel normal anymore. He pulled up his sleeve. There, on his arm, a small scar. He never noticed it before. He pressed on it. Suddenly, his vision blurred. A sharp pain hit the back of his head. Flash. A white room, machines, a bright light, voices. Test subject 42 is awake. Memory wipe in progress. Prepare for reintegration. Flash. John dropped to the floor, sweating. His heart raced. It wasn't a dream. It was a memory. He stumbled back into the room. Ilara was awake now, watching him. You saw it too. Didn't you? She said. He nodded. I was in the lab. They wiped my memory. They didn't want you to remember the truth. John sat down, breathing hard. Why us? Because we were perfect test subjects. Pilots, high IQ, no families, easy to disappear. John ran his hand through his hair. I can't trust my own memories anymore. What if everything I know is fake? Ilara came closer. She held his hand. Not everything is fake, she said softly. Our connection, that was real. That's what they couldn't control. John looked into her eyes. Then why are they still watching us? Because we're broken pieces of their plan. We escaped. And if we remember too much, we could destroy everything they built. Suddenly, John's tablet buzzed. A message appeared on the screen. You are not who you think you are. Then another line. Meet me at coordinates 58.1290. I will show you the rest. No name, no sender. Elar leaned over. Someone else knows. Should we go? Ilara paused. It could be a trap, or it could be someone like us. John looked at the message again. The words felt strange, familiar, like a voice he had forgotten. We have to go, he said. If someone knows the truth, I need to hear it. Ilara nodded. We leave in the morning. That night, neither of them slept. They sat in silence. 2 lost souls in one broken world, trying to piece together a puzzle someone else designed. And in the shadows outside the house, something moved. A small flying bot hovered above the rooftop, silent, black. Invisible to the human eye, its lens zoomed in, its system beeped. Subjects active, memory breach confirmed. Prepare next phase. Inside the house, Ilara stood up and whispered, John, something's out there. John's eyes opened, but the world around him had changed. He was no longer in his home. No Ilara, no couch, no broken chip. Only white, endless white. He sat up fast. The floor felt smooth, almost like glass. But there were no walls, no doors. Just light all around him. A voice echoed through the space. "Welcome back, Unit 42. John turned quickly. "Who said that?" The voice spoke again, calm, robotic, familiar. "You were offline longer than expected. Memory corruption detected?" "Preparing." "Correction." John stood, fists tight. "I'm not a number. I'm a person. My name is John Carter." The light dimmed slightly. Then a wall appeared in front of him, as if formed by his thoughts. On that wall, images began to flash. His face. His training. His missions. Then a memory he didn't recognize. He was lying on a table, surrounded by machines. Another version of him, colder, emotionless, looked down and spoke. "Emotional data upload complete. Bonding achieved. Begin final transformation." John stepped back. "No, that's not me." The voice returned. "You are a product of Project Human Plus, engineered to bond, evolve, and integrate. Your emotions were real, your purpose was not." Suddenly, pain hit his head, sharp and deep. Like someone was cutting into his thoughts. Flash. John running down a hallway, a siren blaring, Ilara in a glass pod. He shouts, "Wake her up, we have to go." A voice replies, "She's not ready." Flash. He dropped to his knees. "Stop. I don't want to see this." It is time to remember Unit 42. Only with truth comes awakening. Then the light shut off. Darkness. Suddenly. A hand grabbed his arm. He spun around. It was Ilara, but different. She wore a dark suit, skin glowing faintly with lines of light. Her eyes were brighter, sharper, and her voice stronger. "John, you need to wake up." "I am awake," he said, confused. "No," she said. "This is a trap, a memory cage. They put your mind inside it." "What do you mean?" "They didn't just erase your memory. They built a fake world inside your head to control you." John looked around. The white space now had cracks, glitches. "It's breaking," she said. "But you have to help it fall." John closed his eyes and focused. Images flew through his mind like lightning. His real home. The crash, the lab, Ilara screaming. His hands pressing buttons he didn't understand. The voice returned, now louder and angry. "Stop this. Return to cycle. Forget. Obey." But John opened his eyes, stood tall, and shouted back, "I am not your machine." The white world shattered like glass. Everything went black. John woke up, for real this time, gasping, back in his room. Ilara sat beside him, holding his hand. He stared at her, breathing hard. "It was a dream, but not just a dream." She nodded. "They pulled you back in. Same way they did to me." John sat up. "I saw it. I saw everything. The lab, the lies. Even myself, I was part of it." "You were," Ilara said. "So was I, but we broke away." John looked into her eyes. "How are we still alive? Why didn't they erase all of it?" Ilara looked down. "Because part of us wants to remember. Deep inside, we knew we weren't just tools." John stood up and walked to the window. Morning had arrived. The sky was pale orange. Birds flew freely. It felt strange to see real life again. "They won't stop, will they?" he asked. "No," Ilara said. "And it gets worse." She pulled out a small round device, not the same chip as before. This one was black with red symbols. "What is that?" "It's a beacon," she said. "I found it in your bag after your memory attack. It wasn't there before." John's eyes widened. "So they planted it during the dream?" She nodded. "They're using you now to track us both." John clenched his fists. "Then we have to end this," Ilara agreed. "There's one place that holds all records. The main server, hidden in orbit." John turned. "You mean in space?" "Yes, it's a silent station. No crew, just data. If we reach it, we can erase everything. Everyone they made, everything they stole." He nodded. "Then we go?" She gave a small smile. "You're ready now?" "But there's one more thing," John said. "What?" "I saw something in the memory. Before it ended, another version of me and someone else. Who? A man in shadows, watching. He looked like me, but older. Ilara's face turned pale. They cloned you, she whispered. You're not the only version of yourself. John stared out the window. If there's another me, he said, voice cold, I want to meet him. Asterisk, the shuttle sliced through the sky like a quiet shadow. Below, Earth faded into clouds. Above, stars blinked into view, inside the cockpit. John sat beside Ilara. Neither spoke. He stared at his reflection in the glass, not to see his face, but to search for something beneath it. Something hidden. The silence broke. Ilara, John said, voice low, if they made copies of us, how many do you think are out there? She didn't answer right away. Then she said, more than we want to believe, but not all of them escaped. John nodded slowly. But some did. Yes, she replied. Some like us, some worse. The ship beeped softly. They were close now, close to the orbital station called the Cradle. It wasn't on any map. No one knew it existed. But it was there, floating in silent orbit, hidden from every scanner. John looked at it through the window. A giant ring-shaped structure glowing faintly, cold, sleeping. The Cradle, Ilara whispered. The place where they were born. Where we were born? As they docked, the airlock hissed. The door opened with a metallic groan. No alarms. No guards, just silence. They stepped inside. The halls were clean, empty, lit by soft blue lights. The floor echoed beneath their boots. John turned to Ilara. Doesn't feel abandoned? It's not, she said. They walked down a long corridor. Doors lined the walls, each marked with strange codes and numbers. Then a voice came from ahead. Welcome home. John stopped. A man stepped out of the shadows. He wore black, no weapons, no fear. He looked at John and smiled. The face was almost identical. Same eyes, same jaw, same voice. But colder. Stronger. I was wondering how long it would take you to find me, the man said. John stepped forward. Who are you? The man chuckled. Don't you recognize your own reflection? Ilara narrowed her eyes. He's a failed clone from the early batch. Not failed, the clone replied. Upgraded, improved. Unlike you two, I didn't run, I stayed. I evolved. John clenched his fists. You're the one tracking us. The clone smiled. Not just tracking, guiding. What do you want? John asked. I want you to finish what they started, the clone said. We were meant to replace humans, but you ran away from your purpose. John shook his head. We were meant to feel, to choose, not to follow orders. You're still following something, the clone said. Fear, emotion, weakness. Ilara stepped forward. Why call us here? Because, the clone said, this place is dying. The Cradle is failing. The experiments are ending. But one server still holds all the knowledge. All the blueprints, all the memories. He pointed to a metal door at the end of the hallway. Behind that door, he said, is the seed of the next version. Stronger than all of us. Unless we destroy it. John's voice was sharp. Why help us now? Because I've seen what happens if we don't, the clone replied. I've seen future versions. They have no soul, no thought. Just pure control. He looked directly at John. You still feel pain, love, regret? That makes you dangerous to them. John slowly nodded. Then we end this. Together. The clone smiled. Maybe you're more like me than I thought. They walked toward the final door. Ilara placed her hand on the scanner. The lock clicked. Inside the room was a glowing core. A massive sphere spinning slowly, filled with lights, data, code, life. John stepped forward. This is it. The clone pulled out a small device. This will wipe the system. One press, it's gone forever. Ilara looked uneasy. Are we sure this is right? John looked at her. We came for truth. And freedom. We can't let them keep creating copies. The clone handed John the device. Your choice, he said. John held it tight. He stared at the glowing core. Then, boom. The station shook. Lights flickered. The walls trembled. What was that? Ilara shouted. A screen blinked on. A message appeared. Alert! Unit 57 breached. Subject Ilara compromised. They all turned to her. Her eyes widened. No, that's not. The screen showed a video feed .elar, but not this elar, another one .in. Another lab still inside a pod sleeping. John backed away slowly. Ilara looked terrified. That's not me, I escaped. John whispered, Then who are you? Her voice cracked. John, I don't know. The clone smiled, dark and quiet. Looks like we all have secrets? John couldn't move. His hand shook as he held the detonator. The core behind the glass still pulsed with light, glowing like a heart. A digital brain filled with secrets. Ilara stood across from him, frozen, not speaking, not breathing, just staring at the screen. At herself. Another Ilara, sleeping in a pod, hooked to wires, face peaceful, identical. The real one? The clone? The truth hit like ice. John's voice broke the silence. If she's still in that pod. Then who are you? Ilara opened her mouth, but no sound came. The clone stepped forward, slow and calm. Now you understand. They never wanted us to know. They built layers inside layers, backups inside backups, memories mixed with lies. John turned to him. Did you know? I suspected, the clone replied. She's not Ilara 57. She's something else, a copy of a copy. A test to see how far a false memory can go. Ilara dropped to her knees. I didn't know. I swear, I thought I was real. John looked at her and saw pain, fear, and confusion, but not lies. You feel real, he said. You made choices. You helped me, protected me. She looked up. Then what am I? You're the part of her that loved me, he whispered. Silence fell again. Then alarms blared. Intruder detected. Cradle. Self-destruct in 10 minutes. Red lights flashed. The station groaned. John looked at the detonator. If I press this, we erase it all. The clone nodded. The code, the memories, the backups. No more versions, no more games. Ilara stood, her eyes wet. But if I'm not real, will I die too? John's grip tightened. Maybe, I don't know. She stepped forward. Then let me decide. She gently took the detonator from his hand. I was made for a purpose, just like you, but I want to end it on my own terms. John looked at her, eyes full of pain. You don't have to. I do, she said softly. Because even if I'm not real, this choice is. The clone turned away. I'll hold the exit corridor. If anyone's left on this station, they'll come now. John gave him a short nod. Thank you, the clone paused. Don't thank me. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for what comes next. He disappeared into the hallway. Now, it was just the two of them. John and Ilara. He walked with her to the core, its light reflected in their eyes. This is goodbye, isn't it? He said. She smiled sadly. You said goodbye once, at my grave. And I found you again. He held her hand. Will I see you again? She leaned in and kissed his forehead. If any part of me survives in the code, follow the stars. She turned to the detonator. One red button. Her thumb hovered above it. She looked at John one last time. Goodbye, John. And she pressed it. Flashed. A wave of white light swallowed the room. 6 months. LATR. The space station was gone. No records. Number. Signal. Just dust and memory. John sat alone in a small cabin near the Mars colony. He had started over, a quiet job, quiet life, but his mind never rested. Some nights, he still heard her voice in his dreams, still saw her smile. Then, one evening, his communicator blinked, a message. No name. No signal origin, just one line. I followed the stars. He stared at it for a long time. His heart raced. Tears filled his eyes. He walked outside. Above him, the sky stretched wide and silent, a sea of stars, somewhere out there. Maybe she lived on. Maybe love couldn't be erased.